I'm just thinking back when I was a new grad and just reflecting on a lot of my colleagues and the new grads I've seen in recent years, and the ones that I've accepted on board all often have one common trait, and that common trait is being proactive. Being proactive, I think, not only as a new grad but as an individual will take you a long way. So my piece of advice is being proactive. Go out there, speak to employers, getting your name out there. I think that is key.
If a new grad is looking to go into a private practice, it's as much about the clinic's opportunity to get a new staff member as the student's opportunity to grow as a professional. So don't be afraid to ask questions. I'm a practice owner and I look for students who show initiative and ask questions. If you're applying for a private practice role, what can you offer me in terms of support? How will I obtain professional development? So I don't think it's a bad thing to be upfront and ask those questions of potential employers. They're going to be much more appreciative of the transparency rather than somebody who comes in without asking what they're getting into.
Think about how you can contribute to the workplace. Is the workplace a better place because you're on the team? Because it should be.
If you see the patient in the acute setting, you actually understand what's actually happened with the surgery. We have the doctors on the ward that you can actually ask the surgeon, how did you actually do this reconstruction of the lumbar spine? We're actually getting a lot of the technology developing for surgical procedures in the public sector, and then they're being implemented into the patient. So we're really at the forefront of that technology, different sort of surgical advances happening, and that carries them through to when they're working in private practice, because patients are presenting into practices down the track having that done, and they've already got that under their belt. So the advice is that I can say is that it's so good to actually consolidate all of your skills from uni. You can actually implement your skills across a variety of patients, from aged care to paediatrics, from super acute to your rehab and community patients. It really gives you a good solid grounding to build the basis for your career on a public sector employment in the first year of allocation.
Okay. There's no such thing as bad experience, there's just experience. A lot of people want to go and get, they want to work in this area because that's where they want to work. Regardless of if something is exactly what you want to do or not what you want to do, everything is a learning experience and should be viewed that way.
Okay. If you haven't already, go out there and try and get some exposure in private practice. So if you haven't managed to get a placement in either private practice or a musculoskeletal side of things in regard to one of your student placements, go out and go to a practice, see if you can shadow, see if you can do some work with them as a physio aide or as a receptionist. Go and try and do some sports coverage. Try and, again, it's like networking, it's getting yourself out there because you're selling yourself as a physio.
If you love working with the elderly, that will definitely help. I'll quickly share this, but when I first graduated, I didn't really have much in the way of appreciation for aged care, but I sort of stumbled into it, and very quickly I found out that it was a great place to be. Loved working with the elderly. That notion that you can't affect change in that age group because they're too old, I mean, that's very unfair to begin with, but that's simply not true. If you employ the right type of rehab, strategies, you can definitely improve them and give them a better quality of life.
Be open-minded, and don't be afraid to be innovative. Just because there are a lot of new grads will be going, oh, should I go public, should I go private, should I? Think of what you really want to do that matches to what you want to do in 3 years. And then tick off the things that you need to do to get there. And that might mean, why don't you work part-time in private practice and in public health? There's the different things that you do with allocation and things. It's not the only way. There's many ways to do it. Some are just harder to get into than others. And I'd be really out there. I know this is what the generation are looking for these days, is make work enjoyable, make it fun, and then no longer is it work anymore. It's actually all on path to what you want to achieve over your lifespan. And sometimes I don't think as university students we probably think enough about what we want to do. We think about, we want to be a physiotherapist, but why do you want to be a physiotherapist, and what do you want that to facilitate in your life? Do you want to travel with it? Do you want to go and help people in other communities that don't have it? Do you want to work with children? Do you want to work with the elderly? Do you want to create something new? There's basically, the physiotherapy is the first tick. It's not the end product. So that's really best advice I can give.